How we doing, everybody? DommyGun Rici here, Who-Bangin Sports Talk. That thing always comes in a little quick at the end. Always catches me. How's everybody? It is Saturday. It is the weekend before the All-Star game. We have, to me, this is the first half of baseball is winding up now. I know officially, if you count the games, it's not technically the half, but to everybody, all of us feel the same way. I'm sure that's the first half of baseball is ending. Tricky weekend, like I talked about on Thursday, about the games before the All-Star break and how we should play them. And today's no different. Tough card. Some teams that can't just, rest some guys, because it's a good time to rest guys, right? And it's, right before the All-Star break, maybe rest a couple of your starters, this and that. But some teams don't have that luxury, and a lot of them are playing today. So we'll talk about those games. We'll go into some housekeeping that I found for the first half, a couple numbers that might be interesting, and that's it. So before we get started, let me bring in our friend, our brother from Ocala, Florida, Big Ragu 62.
What's
Doc,
happening,
how are
buddy?
you? How are you, buddy?
Dummy, like the show says, light it up, and you've been lighting it up in Major League Baseball, my friend. I can't
Having a good
say
half.
I can't say the same. I mean, I'm teeter tottering a little below 500, But anyways, regardless, I'll heat it up in the second half. Like you said, the first half is kind of in the rearview mirror now with the All-Star break on the horizon.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a tricky time of the year because some teams don't have the luxury of resting some starters, and then teams, as streaky as baseball gets, it gets even a little more quirkier towards the break here. But I'm looking forward to today's card, and like you said, it's a little tricky, but we'll find some spots here and there to put on.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I've had a good first half. It's usually my first halves are usually like 500, maybe a little under, maybe a little over. But the first half, I'm always trying to figure things out. And on the norm, I've usually had those kind of first halves. And knock on wood, I've had very good second halves the last 3 and 4 years. Now this year, I had a good first half. Let's see how it goes in the second half. Yeah, that's all, right? You know how, but you know how it goes. Listen, easier said than done. That's for sure, man. We've been at this game too long to, to rest on what we've done in the past. That's for sure. It's you said it perfect one time. You said this is the game. It's a tough living that we choose, but this is what we choose. So
yeah, right. Just like the
easy.
Godfather said.
That's
the
right.
Life we chose.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Gerald. Faux Patashi. Good morning. Someone mentioned something about a game that I'm on, and it's a lean. Let me go up here again. Someone said something about the Orioles. Let's see. Oh, there he is. How you doing, Verl? Verl Video. How are you, brother? Morning, everybody. Yeah, you think the Orioles money line plus 104 is a lean? I'll just so you know, I took that game at plus 107. That line is dropping. I mean, if you like the game, I think you should take it because there's some money coming in on the Orioles. So that's for sure. Let me just hit a couple of things I found out for the first half. It's a couple interesting things. Let's see. The home run leaders. Ohtani with 31 in the AL. Then Robert Jr. He has 26 for the White Sox. Garcia for Texas has 23. Davis has 20 for Boston, and Judge hasn't played in weeks, and still the number 5 in the home run leaders has 19. So it just goes to show you how hot Judge was. In the NL, Olsen has 29, which I didn't realize he had so many. Alonso at 26. He's belted a couple lately. Betts, Schwarber, and Solar for Miami. That kid Solar is something, man. He's having a good season. He's knocked in like 22 home runs already. Average-wise, Bochette's leading the league in the AL average with a 328. Arias, I don't know how you pronounce that for Miami.
Yeah, he's
386. He's hitting 386. He's leading the league, man.
Chasing Ted Williams 400.
Unbelievable. And for RBIs, Garcia for Texas leads the league in the AL with 73, and Olsen again on top there with for the NL 70 ribbies. So the one thing about the NL, Alonso, Betts, and Martinez all tied at 61. So, but yeah, some good numbers. Some guys are hitting the ball. Some guys are batting. Some are playing pretty good. And if you see the teams that they're on too, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Well, Pete's going to be in the home run derby again this year,
Pete's
right?
in the home run derby as always. I hope he
Yeah.
don't, just I think he takes it a little bit too serious to watch himself and not get hurt, man.
Yeah.
As far as Judge is concerned, I'll tell you, and we'll talk about the Yankee game. And well, they're the first game up, so that's what we'll talk about. Yankees Cubs. It feels to me that the Yankees made a little bit of a turnaround the last couple weeks. They started hitting the ball a little bit better. I mean, they were in the top 5 of under teams for most of
Yeah.
the year. It seems like they're slipping out of that a little bit. They're starting to hit the ball a little bit better. I think when they realized that Judge wasn't coming back, it seems, coincidentally, that's when they started hitting the ball, when Judge announced that press conference that he's not sure when he's coming back, if he's coming back. And I think maybe, the Yankees psychologically might have been like, he's coming back soon, and kind of resting on that. And when they realized, like, no, man, we got to get back to work, it looks like they might have turned the corner a little bit. I like the way the Yankees been playing the last week or two. I mean, obviously, they got crushed the other day against Baltimore.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I had Baltimore that game, but I think the Yankees might be a team to watch out for in the second half if they get a little bit of their pitching back. Cortez is still hurt, so we'll see if Nasty Nestor, how he comes back. But, I mean, this Chicago game against the Yankees, I mean, Cole is Cole. I mean, we could say a million things about Cole.
Yeah.
But I did look at all his starts, and it went back to April, and I think there was 13 or 14 of them. And I was looking at the teams that he faced. And most of the teams, it came out that the Guardians were the only team in the bottom half of the league versus righty pitching, and now they've been hitting the ball now, Cleveland, over the last few weeks. So, but
Yeah.
he's faced a lot of good. He faced the Rays twice. He faced Texas twice. Yes, he played the Mets when the Mets weren't playing well. Yes, he had pitched against the Cardinals, but he's had a lot of faced a lot of good teams. And I almost feel like the Cubs are the worst team he's faced now, since the Cubs the last 2 weeks started again going back to their old ways and not hitting righties. So, he faced the Blue Jays. He faced the Padres. Faced the Dodgers. So that had something to do with me making a play on the Yankees. I was going to go with their team total over, but they're just tough. Even though they've been hitting the ball lately, and what I said about them not being such an under team, maybe starting not to be such an under team, I didn't trust that. So what I did with them is I threw them in a parlay with the Braves plus 156. Not a great number, but I love the Braves today, and I think Cole just beats up the
You think that's what happens?
the Cubs. Yeah, I mean Smiley hasn't been pitching good at all. His last 7 starts, Doc, 6.49 ERA, 1.85 WHIP, 6.03 FIP. The Cubs versus righty pitching last 7 days, and they were doing well. Last 7 days, they're ranked like 25th in ISO. All the top 20s. OPS, WRC plus, all those numbers.
Yeah.
So
They're bottom third right now, for sure.
that's where I got to.
Last
That's how
couple
I
weeks.
got to the Yankees. I'm not going to play a minus 185. I was leery of playing the team total over, but the Yankees might be able to score 8 runs alone on this damn team. But that's what I did.
When I first looked at this game, I had concerns about the Yankees offense. It seems like you said, in the early going with Judge being out, they did struggle a whole lot. They got better, after about 10, 12 game stretch there. Then, they started turning things around. They got back in the plus column and the win column last, like dozen or so games on the higher percentage size. But, their bats have been not as consistent, but they've been better. That shows a little bit of concern, but I think overall, making those adjustments in the lineup for them is big, and depending upon, who they're facing. And but to me, the key to the Yankees offense is Bader. I think he's a big spark plug for them when he's
He
in the
sure
lineup,
is.
and they seem to win more games when they have a high percentage, like close to like high 60s. When he's in the lineup. So I like that look whenever Bader's in the lineup for them. But they got to figure it out. And like you said, we don't know when Judge is coming back. So it's and
If he's
first
coming
half is
back.
gone. So now they're going to definitely have to focus and kind of do some not house cleaning, but big adjustments. And the pitching staff is a big part of it. And Cole's been a big success for them. 8-2 with a 2.79 ERA. Smiley, he's had his struggles. Ever since they went overseas, they played that game in London.
Yes.
They were struggling a little bit,
Yep.
and I think they're like one game over 500 right now. So the Cubs, they're like 4-8. They're past 12, but they're 9-1. Since their 9-1 win over in June, they like I said, they're playing about 500 ball over there.
Right.
So the Cubs, they kind of flail, and a lot of these teams are doing the same thing they did last year around this time. Going into the break, you had the Twins that were kind of sitting up top. Now they're I think they're like one game or half game ahead. Cleveland starting to hit the ball better. Same thing as last year. The Reds have kind of stood hot with their bats. We'll see how that continues on for them. Pittsburgh jumped out early. The D-backs are kind of hanging on. So a lot of these teams that did the same things last year are doing it again this year. And same thing with the Rays. The Rays, they started out real hot this year.
Yeah.
And then they caught that middle stretch where they kind of just wobbled a little bit. But now
Right.
their wobble's coming closer to the break. And the Braves, the Braves are just sailing on, man. They're leading all the offensive categories, lefties, righties. It doesn't matter for the Braves. They just.
It sure doesn't. It sure doesn't.
I mean, it's just crazy. And Philly too. Philly made their turn a little earlier. I figured when I seen Philly in the preseason that they would have strong bats throughout the whole year, and they struggled a little bit. There's feast or famine with them. They either score a bunch or don't score none. But Philly's going to be one of them teams that's going to get. They're going to make their turn, and hopefully the Mets pick it up.
Yeah.
Later on too. So a lot of baseball to be had. But for today's game on the Yanks, so I kind of lean. I kind of like the over a little bit here.
Yeah,
I know
I don't blame
offensively they've been Chicago's been struggling a little bit, and I know Cole's numbers have been really really good. But I think the Yankees bats come up today. I think Smiley, he'll probably give up a couple crooked numbers here in the early going. I think the Yankees. Well, I'm gonna reboot that. I'm gonna say I'm gonna take the Yankees on the first 5 team total over for that. That's
that 2.5?
Yeah, I'm gonna take I think they get to Cole. I think they get to Smiley a little early here, and I think Cole. He holds his own. He'll get 6 or 7 strong innings. So, but I still lean over. I think if you look at the numbers when they opened up, I think we're seeing an 8 at minus 122, 123.
8's a good number.
Yeah. I mean, it opened up at like 105. Now it's kind of shaded to the over at like 125. So, there is money coming on the over.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
So, and then,
like I said, the Yankees. I said they could probably hit. They might be able to hit this over by themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think they could put up some runs. And Cole has let up some runs here and there.
Yeah, he does.
When you think they
he's
haven't.
been solid all year. The thing about the Yanks, I took them Wednesday. I took them on Wednesday. I took a team total with them over, which they didn't get there. They scored like 1 run, I believe.
Yeah.
And they wound up losing the game. I had them on the money line too. So, but yeah, they're gonna hit those little skids, and I think this is a good spot with Cole. They usually do well with Cole on the mound, and Cole's done well against the Cubs in his career. It's 10-3 in 15 starts. So I don't hate that. I like the Yankees in a parlay too, like you said.
Yeah,
I haven't paired them up.
It was like how to play them, and I'm thinking, like you said, we're on the same wavelength on how that what we think about.
Yeah, I think they hit Smiley today. I think the Yankees bats will wake up today and put some numbers up. I like that 2.5 over the first 5 for the Yanks.
It's a bet that I like. It's a bet that in general, it's a bet that I like. It's a bet that I played. I didn't play that many first 5s this year, probably the least as in the past. But I do like those team totals to Texas Rangers and the Rays for a long time.
Yeah.
Those first 5 team total overs, 2.5 were just gold. And the Reds, they were the top 3 in the league all through
Yeah.
June, all most of May and June. That they were the top, teams in that category. That was they've been flying. Yeah, the Reds are a tricky team, man. We'll talk about them, but they're a tricky team. I don't know if they have the pitching to to go far, but they
Right.
sure got the bats, and they sure are playing a lot better. What's up, Dabby Cab? What's good, brother? Good to see you. So you're on the Yankee. You on the over, or you on the first 5 team
The
total?
first
Over?
5 to 2.5.
That's great. That is nice. Let's see. I tell you, was there less games today than usual on a Saturday?
No, there should be 15.
Oh, there was that many. I didn't even. I was only looking
Yeah.
at certain games. So my theory before the All-Star break is that certain teams might, first of all, you should always look at the lineups, I guess, and I would say 80% of the time I look at the lineups, but I honestly don't look at it every time I make a bet, especially when it's early in the morning. Sometimes you don't have the lineups, this and that.
Yeah.
But as
not
far as
confirmed.
today's concerned, I mean, depending on what game you play, you got to watch what lineups. Maybe some teams are resting some players. Maybe some teams might be resting or not pitching the starter you thought was going to pitch, something like that. And then there's teams like the Mets, like you mentioned, that can't afford to rest anybody. And it's the reason why the Mets, what they did last week was they switched Senga and Scherzer. Senga was supposed to pitch. What's today? Saturday. He was supposed to, whatever game it was, Wednesday or Tuesday.
Wednesday he was supposed to pitch.
And then they put Scherzer in at the last minute, and they did that so he could pitch tomorrow. They wanted Scherzer to get another start in before the All-Star break. I guess figuring he's our best pitcher right now. In theory. Senga's making a run for it though, but he's our best pitcher right now, and they want to get another start out of him. So and they're playing the Padres, so they got Snell today, which will be a tough one. Peterson against Snell. But
Snell.
Mets won 6 straight. I even wore their shirt for the first time today. Because I've been wearing my Who-Bangin gear, but I actually put my Mets shirt on today because they made me happy winning 6 straight, even though it might be a little bit too late. The problem is the Braves aren't losing. That's the problem, right? The problem is that here's the problem with the Mets now. Yes, they're going to go on a run after the All-Star break. You see what they're doing now. They're going to do a typical Met run, and they're going to burn themselves out by the end of the, and if they're lucky, if they get into the wild card, and they're going to be burnt out because they're going to have to exert all this energy to make up all these games. It's going to be a tough road for the Mets.
Yeah, the East is going to tighten up, though.
Yeah, but yes,
just like it always does. You know what I mean?
That NL East is we assume the Braves are going to have a little bit of a lull. The Phillies are a tough team. The Marlins have played really well, but I think the Marlins might start fading away a little bit in the second half. Their pitching isn't 100% strong.
They're overachieving a little bit.
Yeah, they are. And I noticed something about the Marlins is that I'm on that game, so we'll talk about that game when we get to it. But I think the Marlins have been a little bit lucky too. They've won a lot of one-run games, but I've been backing them. They've been a good bet the first half, that's for sure. I'm sure a lot of people have been backing them. Toronto, Detroit. Are you on that game? Yes.
Toronto, Detroit. Did I give that one
Blue
to you?
Jays.
I think I added that because we were like on a lot of the same the games earlier on, so I think that was like a late add to me. Right. Toronto's been one of these friggin' teams for me that and I've mentioned it on shows that just they've had my goat this year. Not so much other years, but this year they just been one of those teams for me that's kind of been kind of like up and down. Like team totals, I haven't been able to figure them out. Wins, I haven't going against them. They beat me, it all started with Berrios. Berrios started out the year very, very well. And when Tampa was on that streak, when they were going for the win, for the 15th win, first time in like Major League history. But anyways, Berrios was that pitcher, and Tampa owned him, and he destroyed Tampa that game. And then I forgot who was pitching for Tampa, who was like was lights out. But anyways, long story short, Toronto's been one of them teams that's kind of got me most of the season. But today I think is a really good spot for them. It kind of reminds me of like the Cole game, where they got their ace. They got Gausman,
Right.
who's going to the All-Star game. As you
Sure.
mentioned, some of these guys are trying to get their W's in before the game, and I
Yep.
think he's probably their best guy. Back-to-back All-Star. Last year I believe with Giants. They got him from the Giants, and this year they're running him up on the bump. He's doing a nice job for the Jays here. I mean, he's 2-2 career wise against Detroit, but Detroit's one of these teams that's struggling really really bad right now, and I know it's a big number to lay on the road here at Comerica, but that's one of them places where the ball likes to go, and they got some big bats there, and like I say, if I lose with Toronto, I'm going to definitely lose with the better team. They're going against Manning, who's not terrible.
Not
He's
terrible.
2-1 with a higher ERA.
Yeah.
Tells me they usually give him some runs when they play. So, but I think Gosman is the way Toronto, with the way the Tigers are hitting now, and the way Gosman's pitching, I wouldn't have a problem backing the Jays here on the run line. Getting that extra bat on the road. And Toronto, like you said, they got plenty of sticks in their lineup that they can get to Manning here, and I think middle part of the bullpen for is where they'll probably get in trouble here later in the game. But even if they get to him early, I still think they get enough run support here to kind of even things out, and maybe a little bit of a look. Even 8. What surprised me is they're only hanging at 8 on this game. I figured this would be a higher number. But maybe they're telling me that Manning's going to throw a better game than we think here, possibly. Like I say, he's 2-1 with a 4.84 ERA.
Yeah.
But I think he's had a lot of quality starts, Gausman. I think if their bats are in order, just a normal game for Toronto, maybe they come away with like a 5-3 or 6-4 type of game here, possibly. But I was surprised. To me, the 8 was a shock. I figured it'd be like 8.5, 9 here, but.
Me too. But I tell you the truth, I thought so too. But I looked at it last night, and I was thinking if I seen an 8.5 or a 9, I would go under actually. So I guess the 8's a pretty sharp line. Gaussman, last 3 starts, 25 Ks, no home runs.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's
17
been really
innings
sharp.
pitched. So he pitched 17 innings in the 3 games. So he's pitched deep. 3.18 ERA last 3 games, and a WHIP of 1.12. So he's right there. What's the team's opposing batting average against him for this season? 233. So he's up in the high percentage of like the of pitches and the strikeouts. He's he's ahead in a lot of categories. Actually, I was reading, one of the the numbers I was looking at, and his xERA is actually a little bit lower than the 304 he's shown for the year. So he's a good pitcher. I didn't look at his road splits and stuff like that, but yeah. And Gerald Jones, as we see, loves this over 7.5 at -130, and I don't blame him with Gausman's pitching strikeouts. I mean, so
over 7.5 Ks.
Yeah, over 7.5 Ks.
Yeah.
Gerald, we agree on a lot of things. I'm
look at
reading your
that, too.
comments, man. We agree on a lot of things, especially what's up, Gerald Hernandez. Especially what you said about the Mets, and yeah, I agree with you in a lot of things. Oh, before we keep on baseball, I don't want to forget because it's a big thing for us around here in Long Island, especially in the Elmont, Franklin Square area. For those of you who don't know, Elmont is where Belmont Racetrack is. That'll give you a little bit of context of where I live, about 2 miles away. But anyhow, has nothing to do with horse racing. It has to do with NBA and the Summer League. Yeah, me talking about NBA, yes. But the Summer League NBA, I guess it's a tournament or whatever, is out in Las Vegas this weekend or for the next week.
Yeah.
Well, a local kid and the nephew of a very good friend of mine, and the guy's name is also DJ, which is coincidence, but his real name is DJ Dennis. I forgot his. I think it's Dennis John, but just like another Dennis I know. But he is another DJ, good friend of mine. But his nephew is Khalid Moore. The Knicks picked him up to play for his summer league team this year. He plays at Fordham. He transferred from Georgia Tech 2 years ago to Fordham.
Wow.
He's a good scorer. he's a good kid. He's been at my house a couple times. He's a really nice kid, man, and I wish him all the best. But I told his uncle I would shout him out today. They're out in Las Vegas. As a matter of fact, I was talking to our friend Connor Mack last night, and I'll talk about what we're going to do with him a little bit later. And he mentioned that he was going to try to get to some of the summer league games, and I told him, "Let me know if you go, because I, go say hello to my friends, and maybe he can meet, meet Khalid." But anyhow, I wish him luck, man. Khalid, wish you luck, brother.
Yeah, that's a good story, Dom. That's great.
Congratulations
to him.
We'd love to. We're behind you 100%. I'm going to get all my boys to back you, and we know a lot of NBA guys and just all the sports guys. Anyhow, I know I'm not allowed to talk about. I know I'm not allowed to talk about gambling in front of you, so I don't. But no, the kid is good, man. Listen, the Knicks picked him for his summer league. That's cool. See what happens from there. At least he's in the
summer league's fun.
Yeah, and at least the kid has a shot. At least some eyes are on him. Whether it works out or not, you know how that goes, right? And our boy Dabby Cab could tell us all about that, about what happens when you get to that part. But
not to get off subject because we're talking baseball, but just real briefly, basketball to me is the only sport that's like year round. I mean, it's like it never stops. We just got done with the championships. We're already talking about summer leagues and trades and all that shit.
NBA has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger over the years, and sooner or later I'll get back into it. I got back into the college.
Summer league's a big part of it. So
OG Wham in the house. What's up, OG? Speaking about NBA, how are you? And of course, DJ Big Boss in the house. Yeah, Wham, my boy is Khalid Moore. Check him out, man. He's playing for the Knicks Summer League, so we're real happy about him. He went to the school here, Elmont. He went to high school here. I forgot where he went to college to play. I guess he went first he went to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, you said that, Georgia Tech. Then back
and actually, my friend, who's his uncle, he's probably, he's in his mid-40s. He played also college ball for Northeastern, as a matter of fact. He got to play a little ball. He went to the local high school over here where my daughter went, Cary High School. So, but anyhow, getting back to baseball. I'm going to make that shout out, brother.
I'm going to make that Toronto official play today.
And what is it?
I'm going to be Toronto on the run line. It's a high price, but I usually don't lay that high of a price on the run line, but I'm going to do it today because they owe me some fucking money. Minus 130 on the Blue Jays.
It's a good reason. Yeah, that would probably be my my cutoff right there for a run line, without a doubt. I don't. Usually you don't want to lay that kind of money, but I hear you.
If they were at home, I'd be off of it, but they're on the road.
No matter how people want to talk me into betting, 180 and minus 200 and the value, and if you bet all the games and all that, you'd be ahead in the long run. Number one, I don't have a bankroll to play games like, randomly like that, just because, of a price. But that's not.
I'm gonna have a limited number of games, and that's one. Like I said, because we matched up on a lot of our games that we're going to talk about, so I put that one as an extra.
Yeah. I got you. Okay, cool. Very good. Let's get to the next one. What are these guys saying over here? You haven't been to sleep yet, there, Mr. Webb? I gotta blast you. You haven't been to sleep yet, huh? Interesting. What are you doing, man?
He's out in the club again.
You out and about. Let's go back to the games. What's next up on the board? Let's see. What is next? Of course, my thing pops out always at the wrong time. Toronto, Detroit, St. Louis, Chicago White Sox. I'm not on that game. Are you?
No.
They didn't even have a pitcher. They still don't have a pitcher listed for the White Sox.
They don't have a list.
And they got Mikolos. Something about the Cardinals. Even in all these losses, if you look at all the games and they hit the ball, they score runs. I don't know. Obviously, it's their pitching, but we'll see. What the Cardinals might be a little bit of a team that's going to be in that spoiler type role and knock some teams that they don't think they're going to. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be as bad in the second half as they were in the first half. I got to say that. And the White Sox, terrible. I don't know. It's what I always say about.
They keep disappointing the White Sox.
Yeah, it's what I always say. As soon as they get the good press, they start faltering. But I am on the next game, and that is the Baltimore Orioles against the Minnesota Twins. I did say what I was on at the beginning because I wanted Gerald to jump in on that game. And you are also on this game, right, Doc?
Yeah, yes, I am.
And are we on opposite sides? Is the
We don't
question.
know. I'll hear your breakdown, and I'll give you my little breakdown. So you go ahead. You take the floor.
Take the floor. Take the floor, buddy. You go first, right? Uh, okay, so we got Wells, who is a pitcher I like, and we got Sonny Gray. Gray's 2.50 ERA, pitching well, not a bad pitcher, but I like Wells. I like Baltimore today. Um, let's see. Ray, this is why. Ray did pitch against the Orioles last week. The Orioles just seen him. And a lot of times when I see, and he pitched well against them. He didn't pitch bad against them. He pitched very good against them, as a matter of fact. 6 innings, 0 runs, 7 strikeouts. But I always think a team could figure out the mistakes they made, or just maybe he was on fire that day. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that again today. The Twins did not see Wells in that series, and I like the way Wells has been pitching. His last outing he pitched well against the Yankees, a game that I backed him. 6 innings, 2 runs versus the Yankees. And his last 5 starts, he has not given up more than 2 earned runs in any start in the last 5. So I got to, the Baltimore was a plus money at the time. I took him, I think, at plus 107, and I'll confirm that in a minute. But I took Baltimore. Simple and easy.
Nice,
Tell me
easy
why
pass,
you took.
right?
Tell me why you took the Twins.
I didn't take the Twins.
Okay.
I took the first 5 under in this spot here.
Okay.
Because I totally agree with you.
I like that
about Wells. Coming. They haven't seen him yet, and then maybe, like you said, maybe they do figure out Sonny Gray. But here we go again. Here's another pitcher, top of the list on the staff that's trying to get another win before the All-Star break. And the Twins are one of these teams that's kind of, faltering a little bit right now. So every game's going to be a big game going out against that weaker Central Division. Especially with Cleveland barking on their heels. So I think today we see another good early effort from Gray. If he doesn't get touched up, then obviously it's with the way Wells pitched going in this game and Gray holding it down. I think we could see a good first 5, a lower scoring first 5 under. Then who knows? I know Baltimore's bullpen hasn't been as good as it's been. So if you're going to back Baltimore, I would probably try to back them a little earlier here too. But if you think they get the Gray, then hopefully the bullpen holds on for Baltimore, and you cash that ticket at the end of the game. But I think we'll see more of a pitcher's duel early on in this spot here. And
what number did you get?
On the game.
I might tail that. What number did you get?
Let me look it up here because I didn't mark that down. I got to go on my app here and I'll pull it up real quick.
Because I'll tell you, I'm pulling up some numbers for the Twins. As a whole, they
I want to say it was a 4.
As a whole, their pitching staff leads the league with a 3.53 ERA, which I didn't know that. 848 strikeouts. They're the top. Number 2 is Atlanta. Number 3 is Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
This is in baseball, not just the American League. So,
Twins,
they're Atlanta,
pretty decent.
Tampa Bay, Houston, and then Cleveland. Those are the top.
Their problem has been
5.
runs, putting runs up.
Yes.
Their pitching hasn't been a problem. Their offense has been their biggest problem for the most part.
So I was trying to see if I could. Let's see this.
Okay, so it's 4.5 minus 115.
That's it. And the full game was what, 8.5 or 9?
The full game right now is sitting at. Let's see. We are. What was it? I had an 8. I thought early on, but it might have moved up.
Okay. Yeah, if it was 4.5 for the first, okay, I'll tell you, that's a good bet. That's something I might tail. Here you go, Doc. Team bullpen ERAs. So here we go. The number 1 team, Cleveland, with a 306. The Yankees, number 2, with a 308. Atlanta, number 3, with a 3.42 bullpen team ERA. And Minnesota's number 1, 2, 3, 4 with a 3.55.
It's 8.5 minus.
1, 2, 3.
It's shaded to the under 125.
Gotcha. And
So
Baltimore's number 8 in the league. bullpen wise. So even the full game under, if I could get an 8.5 or a 9, that might be a look also. Baltimore has 27 saves. Minnesota has only 18, but with a 1.22 WHIP as a total. That's great. Oh no, yes, saves. A 1.22 WHIP as a whole for the bullpen. That's pretty good numbers for a bullpen. And even even Baltimore 1.34. So that's pretty good. Those are good numbers, man. So who's our boy who's our boy Perky Sanderson?
Listen to these morons talk.
We
can invite him on camera and see how this asshole sounds.
Yeah, send me your Twitter, and I'll send you a link for your DM.
Yeah.
Come on and talk with us. And
You're
right, the Mets do suck.
We'll Perky right up, Perky.
Hey, Perky, I agree with you. The Mets did suck, man. If they had a terrible June, listen, it is what it is, right? But I know deep down you're probably a Mets fan, and that's okay as long as you're in the chat. We love having you.
Yeah.
Post us a couple plays. Let's see if you know anything about baseball. Okay, next. So you're gonna take that first 5 under 4.5, correct? Doc, that's what you took. First 5 under 4.5.
First 5 under 4.5. Yeah, minus
Gotcha.
115.
Good. All right. After this game is the Texas-Washington game. Are you on this game?
No, nothing
Rangers?
to do with Texas-Washington.
Rangers, another team, a little bit. They we knew they were going to. Maybe the last week or two they haven't played their greatest ball, but they're still a good team. I think Heaney's a decent pitcher. With Texas, kind of like the Yankees with Judge. DeGrom went down with Texas, and at first they faltered a little bit at the beginning of the year, and they just been on a roll. They just put that to the side, and that was a big part of their pitching staff. You would think, DeGrom, and they pitched well. I like them. I like Texas. Yeah, I hear you, Perky. I know we're suffering here in New York, bro. I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
So Texas is a well-rounded team, though. They got a great clubhouse to start out with, and when Bochy got over there, you figure, okay, what's going to happen? And man, they come out of the gates really, really nice. With the pitching, with the bats, score a ton of runs. So I think the only problem with Texas right now is you see a lot of. If you look at a lot of their game totals, they're very, they're high, and they're high for a reason, but you might get caught a little bit here and there trying to catch overs on Texas right now. So I'd be wary, especially going into the break a little bit.
Evaldi's been pitching. Dunning, Gray, Heaney, Perez. They've been pitching well.
No doubt. They've been playing good baseball.
And who knows with the Nats? They just go on their streaks. The Nats, they go on their little friggin' win streaks. They beat a bunch of teams, like I mentioned before about the Reds. Yep, they're dangerous. And at the second half of the year, you always see that in September. A lot of times it's the Marlins and the Nats. They come on strong in September and start screwing up some teams. But this year, like we said, the Marlins have been consistent throughout the first half.
They got Irvin they're going against, right? He's 1-5 with a 4.7 ERA.
Yeah.
And I bet they're going to hang probably like a team total like 5.5, 6 in this spot here. They would almost have to. So
you would think so, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they put up 10, but you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to be laying, 6, 7 runs to cash a ticket on a team total.
The next game up, I'm sure when neither one of our, I know I'm not on, the Rockies against the Giants. Rockies beat the Giants last night. Seabold against Walker. Who knows what's going to happen in this game? But I'll tell you something. The Giants have lost 9 out of the last 14 games after that 10-game winning streak.
Yeah.
They haven't been playing well coming into this break at all. And they lost against the Rockies, who were on a 6-game. Oh no, they were on a 10-game losing road streak. The Rockies, and they beat the Giants. So I don't know about the Giants. I don't know where they're going. They took a lot of Mets. They got a lot of Mets on that team, man. Conforto, J.D. Davis. Yeah, all our guys went over to the Giants last year that we got rid of. It's crazy, but
the Giants, you're gonna the Giants after that loss yesterday. People are going to bet them to bounce back today, I'm sure. But I don't know about the pitcher that Colorado's got. He's
Yeah,
probably a call
Seabold.
up, right?
Yeah,
The Seabold
yeah,
kid.
yep, yep. So next game up, Cincinnati and Milwaukee. We talked. I'm not on this game. We talked about Cincinnati, about how well they've been
Yeah.
playing this year. They seem to have played a lot of games against Milwaukee so far. So I'm not on this. Are you on this game?
I think I might have a little look on here. Let me go back and
I
check my
bet I bet
notes here.
Cincinnati last couple games they were plus money a couple times and they won over the last week. Um, we'll see what happens in the second
Yeah.
half with this team. I don't know if
This
they have the
game,
pitching to go all the way, but go ahead.
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say this game, this is, I know they got Ray, who hasn't been terrible, but he's not great. He's a 5.4 with a 4.4 ERA for Milwaukee, and then
Yeah.
you got Weaver, who's like he's like 2.2 with a 6.7 2 ERA. But one thing the Reds have been really really doing well is they've been smashing. They've been hitting righties all season long, and I think we see more of that today here. You're laying a pretty good number with Ray, or because of Weaver's high ERA here, but I think we see more offense. I think they had a 5-game winning streak snapped on Friday.
Right.
So they lost 7-3 yesterday. So I think we see another high scoring game here. Somewhat. I think Cincinnati could put some points up on, or put some runs up on the board. And I know their offense. They hit Milwaukee hits. See, Milwaukee's one of these teams too that they
Like the White
only
Sox.
score a bunch of runs and they won't score nothing. So Council, he's had some problems in the lineup, but I think they're starting to hit the ball better now. So I think they continue on here too. So I like the over in this spot here, full game over for both teams. I think Reds will put up some numbers. I think the Brew Crew will hit some balls here against Weaver. So I was going to look at the Reds team total, but I says, you know what? I think this is a doable spot for the Brewers bats to be live here against Weaver. So I took the full game over here on this the red spot. And let me give you the juice. So it opened at 9.5 and went down to 9. So that didn't throw me off. So, but
No.
the number kind of ticked down too. When it got to 9, it was a little higher. It was sitting like at 115, 118. Now it's sitting at basically at 110. So I'm going against public money or sharp money, whatever you want to call it here. I'm gonna be on the full game over 9 runs here with the Reds and the Brewers.
Last 3 starts, Weaver 12 innings, 3 starts. He only pitched 12 innings, 7.82 ERA, 1.82 WHIP. So almost two batters, players on base every inning as an average. That definitely helps overs. 7 strikeouts, 2 home runs, only 7 Ks in those 3 games. And what about Ray? He pitched 18 innings. So 6, 12, 18 around.
He's might pitch a little better though.
Yeah, 3.44 ERA. He has pitched better. He's like
his numbers are a little inflated on the front side, so on the back side he's doing better. But I still think, I still think once the Reds get on base, they're pretty aggressive.
Yeah,
so.
no, the Reds are right there. I can't go against the Reds bats. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
I'm gonna pull for a combined effort from both squads to put runs up. Cool. I keep saying points. I don't know why the frig I keep saying points. I got football on my mind, I guess.
Seems like a lot of these got football on my mind already. I get you. I get it. Listen, the way things have been, shit goes fast, right? It's past the 4th of July now, man. Our parents were right that time goes by quick. They weren't lying. We didn't believe it when we were younger, but we learned that lesson, didn't we?
Damn right.
KC Cleveland, I don't have a play on.
No.
Like you say, Cleveland, first of all, the line opened at 164. Now it's like 180. I mean, KC has Brady Singer, who we thought was going to be he's in a bad situation. He's on a bad team. I kind of like that kid for some reason. I wish he would get off he could get out of Kansas City. But
Singer,
yeah. But I'm off this game.
Yeah, I don't have no action.
I'm not sure what Cleveland's going to do. But let's see what Cleveland does if their pitching holds up in the second half. We seen last year, right? It was Cleveland and Seattle. They both were the teams that we didn't expect to go for that went far. I like Seattle a lot. I think that team's going to go far. Their pitching is getting better and better.
Yeah,
Yeah, without a doubt. The next game is Pittsburgh, Arizona. I'm not on this game.
I'm all for that.
D-backs are a team I backed a lot this first half. I don't think they have the pitching again to go all the way to the playoffs. But the D-backs surprised me this year. They're kind of like the Orioles, they like the Orioles. Like the Orioles were last year, like a team something to win, like a surprise, like Pittsburgh is this year, which I think isn't going to last either. But the D-backs, out of those teams, I like the D-backs. They played well. That's what impressed me, that the Mets went in there and beat them. Was something that I was a little impressed with. That the when the chips were down, they on their last breath.
They play good baseball.
But I like the D-backs. So we'll see what happens. It's a team we'll talk about when we talk about the second half.
Usually they play spoilers, them and the Rockies, like you said. They'll come up and bite you like a game or two for that wild card team, because we always have the Dodgers sitting there, but they've been steady all year, the D-backs. So you can't say that they just come out of the gate like the first 10, 20 games. They've been kind of holding their own, and it's been the Dodgers, the ones that have kind of been like floating around. Their offense isn't what it once was, in LA right now. So they're not blowing people into orbit, scoring like 7-8 runs a game and winning by margin. The games they're winning, they haven't been winning as many big games like they've won in the past. So there's some question marks in LA right now.
Yeah. Next game I'm on, and I am on this game. Philadelphia against the Marlins. These are, I'll tell you, these two teams are two teams that have been strong. Miami's been strong pretty much the whole first half. Philly has come on, in the month of June and now into July. I like, Phillies are on a 13-game road winning streak.
Yeah, going for 14.
Yeah, I had them. Not yesterday. I didn't take them yesterday, and I should have, but I took them the day before. And that line was just on Thursday we were talking about it. I gave out my plays, and I kept on going back to that. Tease was on with me, and we kept on going back to that Philly game. I said I'm on the fence about this Philly game. Yeah. They were plus 130, then it was plus 125, then it was plus 120, and then our friend Razor Sharp's picks came on the chat. I said, Razor, give me a play for today. He said, Phillies plus 120. I said, there you go. Thank you. You just pushed me over the fence. So I had the Phillies in that game. But like I said, Miami has won a lot of 1-1 games. They've been a little lucky. They've come back from behind in a couple games. They've been down. I've got lucky betting the Marlins, and sometimes you have the right cap on a game, and your team loses, and it's like something bad happens at the end of the game, and it's just the wrong result, but it's the right cap. Well, really, with the Marlins, for me, the last two times I bet them kind of were the opposite way around. It was the wrong cap. They were losing the whole game, and they got lucky at the end. So sometimes the luck comes with
sometimes
you can't cap luck.
Getting good, man.
That's right, brother.
Our business,
and you can't cap luck. And people that think that, just because you work harder and you work at this longer, no matter what you do, you can't cap or overcome luck, good or bad. So that's just the way it is, man. But,
I got my brother-in-law playing in the World Series of Poker right now. I says he's a really good poker player, but you need a lot of luck to move on. And then even in our like you said, our end, we get those games we should have won that we lost, and we get those games we should have lost and we win. So it works out in the end.
Every time I play a poker tournament, I say, even online or whatever, I always say that besides that, you got to be good. You got to get lucky at least 3 times.
Yeah.
You got to come from behind at least 3 times for a big pot. Especially tournaments, man. Tournaments are crazy. But he's in the what event is he playing?
He was after day 1, he started like this 4 groupings, like one A, B, C, D. He's
in the main. In the main? He's playing the main event?
The main event, yeah. Okay. He was like in 6. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's pretty. They had almost 9,400 people in the tournament this year, which set a record.
Yeah, it's
He
a
was in
lot.
like 600 place after day one.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's big. And
That's
they knocked
huge.
out like 2,500 people. And I think
Yeah.
I haven't got the update on him today though, but
What day is it?
today's day two. Yeah, because Thursday was day one.
We got to track him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
cool. Man, I wish him luck. Man,
yeah.
we
Hopefully
gotta
he
send
does
out
good.
some we gotta send up some good vibes for him, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
gonna be
hope I see
wow.
you in 10 days. Is what I told him.
Yes. With a big smile on your face.
Yeah,
What's up, Nasty? How you doing, brother? So back
but,
to the Phillies, man.
yeah.
I took the Phillies. I bet them at plus. Oh no, at minus 105. Um, I see money coming in on Miami. I guess people like Braxton Garrett. Listen,
Yeah.
Suarez
Oh yeah.
had a bad performance against the Nats. He had a bad performance last time. Five earned runs, 5 1/3 innings. That's not Suarez. All year long, he's pitched well. On the road this year, he's only allowed one home run. He's had 32 innings on the road. He has an under 2 ERA. Only one home run allowed. You're gonna have bad performances sometimes, and I like Garrett, and I back Garrett a lot, but
Yeah.
the Phillies, I just think the Phillies are playing better ball, and I think they just win again today. Last 30 days versus lefties, the Marlins, uh, the Marlins and the Phillies were right there. Marlins are ranked third, Phillies are ranked four in OPS,
Yeah.
right? In the last 30 days. But in ISO, so in the power numbers, Phillies are sticks there at number five, but the Marlins drop all the way to last in
Wow.
MLB. And if you look up their hits, they got a ton of singles. A lot of singles they got. So they're not driving in those runs. They're not putting in those big numbers.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the way the Phillies have been playing lately, and they're I have no problem going. I'm not betting them because they won 13 games. And I know some people might not bet them because they won the 13 games on the road, but
I wouldn't bet against them
that
that
has
way.
nothing to do. That has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, streaks are streaks, man. They happen, and that's baseball. And I have no problem backing streaks for as long as I can. But the one thing I don't like so much is like the Phillies do strike out more than the Marlins do against lefties. But the price was good. I wouldn't have took the Phillies at a big price or anything like that. But I took them at minus 105 on bet on. I just switched over to coverage and they have Miami at minus 120 now. So the market's definitely going against me. But are you on this game at all?
Yeah, I am.
Talk to me.
So
It's a
I
tricky
was able
one.
to bet Garrett like his last. I bet a lot of K props with him. And each game has been going up, up, and up. So like the 3 games prior to his last out, like I had him. I forgot who it was. His strikeout prop was like 5.5.
Uh huh.
And I think I don't know if it was playing the Pirates or whoever it was. But anyways, he had like 8 strikeouts in like 3 innings, and it was like 5.5. And then he wound up striking out 13 that game. And when I seen that, I said, you know what? I'm jumping off him the next game. And I didn't even look at the K prop what that was, and that was his last outing, I guess, against the Nats. So I think he wound up striking out maybe 2 batters in that game. But anyways, long story short, I was betting him on the ladder bets on the K props, and but his splits are not as good. He's not as good as home. He's better on the road, and given
Yeah.
those scenarios, he's got more wins on the road and whatnot. But he seems to throw a little bit better on the road than he does at home. And his numbers are better. He's got a little higher ERA at home, and but I think today's a good day to jump back on because he's been so sharp and so good, and he had that bad outing up against the Nats last week. Even though Philadelphia is dangerous with their hitters, they like I said, they're hot or cold. When they score a bunch of runs, like yesterday, the bullpen blew the game for the Marlins. Puck did, right? They gave up the
Yes.
dinger, but
Yep.
it's still a tight game. So I think we'll see more of the same today.
Without a
Even
doubt.
though the Phillies usually give Suarez pretty decent run support when he's on the bump, but today I'm just gonna go with the K prop today. I'm gonna simplify it for what I want to do with it. And Garrett's prop is at 5.5. So I think
Oh.
I think he's doable with that. It's a little juiced 130, which is like you said, my top end is where I like to be on any type of prop bets. Is 130 is the most I'll go. But I think we'll see probably a good 5-6 innings out of him today. And he usually averages like one or more per inning or better. He's right about 1.5 is what his average is. So if he gets 5, he should get like 7-8 Ks today. So I'm going to be on Garrett minus 130, 5.5 Ks.
Last 3 starts, he has 20.
Yeah, he got 13 in that one game.
Yeah, 21 strikeouts to 2 home runs in his last 3 games. 17 innings pitched.
Well, then you got to regress
whip.
Game for the Nats. So he had like 8 or he had 7 or 8 the game before the 13, and then he had like 2 I think in the last one. So yeah, that's about right.
And his whip is under 1, so he's not putting guys on base. His whip is under 1. And Suarez got blown up his last game, and that's why sometimes the ERAs, are what they are.
He gets run support,
but he also has 20 Ks in the last. There might be some Ks, some strikeouts. What's the total for this game? Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, it's the total is 8.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say 9 or something.
Well, it went down to 7.5, so it opened up juiced the over a little bit at minus 115. And now it's 7.5 at 115. So the money's coming in on the under.
Teams are batting 242 against Garrett, so he's been pitching well for sure. Hey, Nasty, I got a free. I know nothing about UFC. I couldn't even name a person, but now you're the man for me to ask. I got a free play on my Bet Online account to go in some kind of contest they have. With the first prize, I think is like $500 or something. You just got to pick a person. So give me, put it in our chat. Give me a couple different. I got to see exactly what the rules are. Let me know who you like, and I'll put something in, and see if we could make some money on that. I got a free play for us, and so you're my UFC guy. So put it in our. In our text chat. What's up, Razor? We hit that Phillies game the other day, plus 120.
Yeah.
That was a
good too. I was off when the Phillies played the Rays. I didn't bet one game in Tampa because I knew Tampa was struggling a little bit and Philly had a lot of value going in. So you think not that I was going to bet against the Rays, but and it was the pitching matchup that I kind of liked for the Rays too, so I couldn't make up mine. That was like on Wednesday. So, and I didn't touch anything after that game. Once that first game went off, I was like, you know what, I'm staying off the rest of the way for the series. But today,
all right, so that's
today,
it.
I think it's a little different.
I'm on the Phillies, and you're on the strikeout prop. So it's a game that we could both hit actually. So that sounds good. So we'll see. Good, Razor. We're back on him again. I got him at minus 105. I see the money splits going against us, which I could care 2 shits about. But, yeah, let's go. I guess we could have got a better price, but so be it. As long as they win. Sometimes you win a little bit less. That's okay. Next game up is Oakland-Boston. I'm not on this game. Paxton's pitching today for Boston. I don't know, Nasty, what's up with your team, Boston, for the second half, but they're another team that I thought they were going to get hot, and then I guess they really don't. Not I guess they don't have the arms really. But I'm off that game. The next game I got to lean on, and I didn't take, but I got some. Is this Seattle-Houston game? I like this kid Wu. I think he's going to just be getting better and better. I know Valdez is a good pitcher. I know Valdez has some great, crazy career numbers against the Marlins. But I also know that Valdez pitched very well against Seattle. Marlins, I said. Mariners. I know that Valdez pitched twice against the Mariners this year and had good games and lost both of them on games he probably shouldn't have lost. I like Seattle today. I didn't bet him. I want to see how I do in my early games, but I like this kid Wu. I was looking at maybe the strikeout prop with him. Wu versus right-handed batters, 145 WOBA, a 36.4 strikeout to walk percentage. That's pretty big, man. That's pretty big. the average strikeout percentage in Major League Baseball, I think I read it was like 20. I think now it's 22. But anyhow, Wu has a 0.60 whip, a 0.94 whip. I mean FIP. I mean he has great numbers. And the Astros, the last 3 times they faced right-handed pitching, and it's something I've been looking at a lot this year about how teams did their last 3 or 4 starts versus a righty or a lefty if they're facing. And the Astros, the last few games, well, they did have a game against Anderson and the Rockies, and they hit him. 4 innings he pitched, gave up 5 earned. But Ovaldi pitched 7 innings against them, no earned runs. And Kirby, their last out, Kirby's been starting to get a little bit better. He's 6 and 2 innings pitched with only 1 earned run. So the Astros, and then there's also the last 7 days versus the last 14 days, the Astros versus right-handed pitching hasn't been that great. I like Seattle in this game. I'm almost talking myself into taking them now, but
Wow.
I do like them. I do think it's a sneaky little game there with Seattle. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that game.
No, but I mean, I didn't look at Wu's numbers like you did, and I know Valdez's his numbers are not terrible. I mean, his win-loss ratio is a little bit of a surprise to me. As good as a pitcher he is,
He's
but
a
his
ground ball expert though. That's what he is, ground ball expert.
Yeah.
Valdez. Yeah.
I was going to say I would, if you look at I would lean
Gerald.
I would lean towards the first 5 under here on this spot here. If the numbers are in line with what you say with Wu, because I know Valdez, like I say, he's a 7.6 with a 2.49 ERA. I would definitely lean first 5 under, possibly full game under here, because I know it opened up at 8, shaded to the over a little bit, but it's come back a little bit on the under. Like it was like 125, now it's sitting about 112, 113. So a good solid 10-cent move to the under on the 8 full game. So I wouldn't hate that play at all here. First 5 actually, first 5.
Yeah, boy, Gerald likes the under as well.
He likes the under.
Yeah. Rays, I don't know why I was saying minus 105. It was plus 105, obviously,
Let
for
me
the
see.
Phillies, but
Let me
I
see
get
what we
you.
can get on that. First 5. First 5. Huh. That's odd.
What? There's no line there?
They don't have the inning lines here for some reason. Oh well, I'll have to get back. I'll check
That
that
game until
before
7 o'clock, 7:15 start. Yeah, I like Seattle. Maybe someone could look it up for you. What are you looking for, the first 5 numbers?
Yeah, I don't know why it's not on my betting app for some reason. They just show like the game, the run line, and the straight numbers. 8.5 full game is 8. It's shaded. It's shaded to the over still 8.5.
Okay.
Actually, it went up. It went up a half. I got mixed signals on it depending on what book you're looking at. So, anyways,
all right.
it wasn't on my radar to bet, so I'm going to leave it alone.
Yeah, but yeah, it was definitely a lead for me. I was been looking at it. We'll see how it goes. I'll see how this Yankee game goes and take it from there. Let's see. There's only 3 games left. One of them is the Angels and Dodgers. I'm not on that game. I don't think you are either.
No, I don't have any.
No pitcher listed for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Reed Detman's pitching for the Angels. The Angels are the Angels. They always start, another team that after the All-Star break always starts faltering. You think they're going to be doing great. I know they got the great Ohtani on their team. I don't know how long he's still going to be on their team, but Ohtani, they don't win. I don't know. He don't make their team better. Trout's hurt now for the next month or 2.
Yeah, they're banged up bad.
Yeah, I guess they're trading Ohtani. There's been a lot of nonsense talk about, in New York about him coming, to the Mets or the Yankees. Honestly, I don't think he leaves the West Coast. One of those teams are going to grab him. If the Angels trade him, or he's a free agent, right? If the Angels don't do nothing with him, I guess. Yeah. I could see the Dodgers, the Giants. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel he's a West Coast guy. He's going to stay out there. I could be wrong. I mean, as a Met fan, I don't even know if I mean his contract would just like bankrupt us. I don't know if he's a great fit for the Mets. I don't. I also my other theory on Otani, which is not popular, but I'm used to my opinions not being popular.
Yeah, it'll be the Giants or
Yeah,
the
my
Dodgers.
my other theory is this kid got to make a choice sooner or later. Either you become a pitcher or a hitter. How long is his body gonna hold up? When the Tommy John coming? When's the ACL coming? I mean, what he's doing is unbelievable, and he's been doing it for a few years. I don't say now he has to make a choice, but I would think within the net. I mean, he's going to get a big ass contract from somebody, right? He's going to get 8, 10 years. Why wouldn't he? Right? So I would think that sooner or later, I don't know. I mean, unless he's just like that much of a freak that he can handle doing that for the next 10 years. Just in theory, like can his body hold up like that? But it's amazing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Wham wants him in Dodger blue. I have a feeling that's how the Dodgers are, man. And the Dodgers
he's
did
just
get
gonna
rid of a
make that
couple
little cab
contracts.
ride across town. That's all he's gonna do.
Yep. And you think about it, the Dodgers got rid of a couple contracts last year, a couple big
It
ones.
makes sense. Dodgers
So
are
you never know.
struggling a
You
little
don't
bit.
know, man. Yeah, easy access home, right? Yeah, I hear you, Wham. I hear
Yeah.
you. So anyhow, we'll see what happens with that game. I'm off that game. The Dodgers haven't been playing great the first half, but the Dodgers always seem to be there in the end. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like I don't worry about that team. I don't think they're having an off year yet. We'll see what happens with
They're
them.
just not winning 106 games.
No, their pitching hasn't been stellar. So, but a staff whose pitching has been pretty stellar. Actually, both these teams, but I'm on one of them. That's the Atlanta Braves and the Tampa Bay Rays. Spencer Strider against Taj Bradley. Two young guns, two good pitchers. Strider, we were waiting for him this year, his big full year, where he is. He came out of the gate pretty strong. Had a couple bad outings, and then the last couple he seems to have bounced back. Let me get my numbers for him. Taj Bradley, I got a theory about Bradley. It's worked for me twice. One time it hasn't worked for me, but it's sometimes when you hear something and then you think to yourself, man, that makes sense. And then you look into it more, and the guy who was talking about it was right on the mark. And it was just, and if I remembered the kid's name, I would give him props for saying this. But he was saying how Glasnow and Bradley pitch the same, like almost exactly the same. That Bradley has tried to mirror his pitching, way he pitches and everything, as Glasnow does, which is a good way to a good person to try to emulate, right? But they even have the same release point. They have all that kind of stuff is the same, and they even showed a graphic of one pitching over the other, and they both released the ball at the same spot for every pitch. It's just amazing how they do that. That there's no difference in the way they pitch. Like some pitches, a fastball they're releasing here, a slider they're releasing here, that kind of thing. So, but when teams have faced both of those pitchers, like the Braves just faced Glasnow and beat him 2-1 in a great outing, they really kind of know what Bradley's going to pitch. You're kind of looking at the same pitcher in a way, and I think has an advantage for teams that are good. And I backed this, like I said, twice, and it was both, and it was against good teams, and the one I lost was against a crappy team. So, and I think that was Oakland, as a matter of fact. The one I went with Oakland that game, trying to get a little bit too cute, and it didn't work. But my point being, I think that could be the what happens again today. The Rays, as we know, have faltered a little bit. They couldn't keep on going on as strong as they were. I'm not counting them out. I think they're going to have that's a team that needs this rest, this break. I think they're a team that really needs the break. They don't have a lot of guys going into the All-Star, I don't think. I read something about how they don't really promote their players going to the All-Star game because they rather them not be playing in the All-Star game. I don't know if that's true or not. but I definitely read that somewhere, which is pretty interesting. But anyhow, I took the Braves today minus 140, which is my top of my line, and I took that last night. And this morning it was minus 145. I don't know what it is now. And I put the Braves in a parlay with the Yankees at plus 156. So I didn't bet the Yankees at all. I bet the Braves straight minus 140, and then bet the Yankees Brave parlay plus 156. You know I don't give out parlays on here hardly ever, but I did. Strider had two bad outings. One against the Mets, eight earned runs against the Mets. Then he had 5 earned runs against the Tigers. That's when he had that little lull there. That was 5 and 4 games ago. Starts ago. His last 3 starts, 6-inning average. All 3 quality starts. The Braves won every game, and they won the run line in every game. In those last 3, 6 innings average, 9 Ks, and 2 earned runs or fewer. I think it was two earned runs in each game, actually. I don't think it was more or less. It was 2 earned runs in all 3 of his last 3 games with 9 Ks, which isn't a lot, but he's pitching, his average is 9 Ks, so it is. Anyway, I took Strider. Bradley's last 2 road games. 12, which he's not. I know he's at home today, which he hasn't pitched well at home, but he's coming off 2 road games where he's pitched 12 earned runs, 5 homers. That was against the D-backs and against the Mariners or the Marlins? The Mariners. So I don't like so much how Bradley's pitching. I like how Strider came back. The Braves are the Braves. Like you said before, they hit righties, they hit lefties. You know, we can go on and on with the Braves numbers. They're definitely the best team in baseball right now. I don't think there's a question. Unfortunately, they're an NL East team. But so all that saying and done, I took the Braves.
Hey, so the Braves got a couple timely hits yesterday to win this game off. With Glass now starting
2-1.
They got 2 hits.
Right.
And they won 2-1. And Tampa wound up getting 6 hits and 1 run yesterday. So I mean, what they do against a guy like Strider today,
right.
But both of these teams are very explosive on offense. 2 best records in Major League Baseball right now. Tampa on a little bit of a slide, 6-game losing streak. Braves like 9 out of 10 W's. 9 out of the last 10, but yeah. Probably the X factor is, like you said, is going to be Bradley here. What does he do against his Braves lineup?
Right.
If he throws like Glass now and they have the same result, maybe they come out a little bit luckier on the other side of the ball. With a few more hits and a few more runs. But this is not a team that I don't like betting teams that are finding ways to lose. You know what I mean? Like in a game like that, you got 6 hits. And the other team's got 2 hits in a normal game. A 1-run game, they always say it's the manager's fault, but I don't believe that in the major leagues. Maybe high school and college, but not so much in major leagues because that's how tough it is to win.
It's a good team finding a way to win, right? They found a way to win.
I mean, that's the thing. Good teams always find ways to win. So just right now the Braves are that team. So do I want to go up against them? Not really. But I might say that Bradley might have a little better effort here than he's had the last 2 outings. I mean, if you go back,
think so.
Before the game before that, he had a pretty good game against Baltimore. But right now, I'm not saying he's in a little bit of funk. He's young, he's learning, so he's going to have.
Right. He's not Glass now. He's not, like I said, that's a good guy to follow. And listen, this kid's going to be fire. This kid Bradley, he's going to be fire. And I don't expect him to keep on pitching bad. Like I think he's a solid kid.
He had good stuff last game. He just couldn't strike guys out. Couldn't get them out.
But he's pitching against a great
some
Braves
nasty
team.
Pitches. He hit some locations, but just once he got 2 strikes on guys, he wasn't able to put them away the last time out. So I think today. I'm going to come back with another K prop. This is very odd that I usually bet 2 K props in one day, and I know the Braves are not big on striking out.
But it must be low. What is it?
What's that? The Braves K's?
No, Bradley's
Oh,
case.
Bradley's. Yeah, I think it was like. Let me see. Let me go back in here. It's not really low, Dom. It's higher than I thought it would be, but
I mean,
I still think he can get there because he averages. Let's see. Where did I see his numbers here? Okay, 9 strikeouts and 6 2/3. That was Strider. Excuse me. I'm looking at Strider's number. Hello.
yeah, Strider had 28 Ks his last 3 starts.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just had his numbers here.
Bradley has 13 Ks his last 3 starts. But Bradley's last 3 starts, he let up a lot of runs. They didn't support him. 8.78 ERA. That's definitely not all.
Yeah,
On his year.
he had 76 strikeouts in 56 innings.
Okay, so that's a yeah. Here, let me see
So
what this guy's.
I like that. I know it's the Braves, but still, the Braves are going to take their cut. So I'm going to take Bradley on this K prop here. Let me find what I had written down. Here we go. It's right here.
Let me see
K
what they got
props.
of him.
So it's at a plus number too. So I kind of even the score up a little bit, even though it's against the Bravos here. 5.5 at plus 120.
Gotcha.
So if they don't rack him up early, if he throws a decent game, six innings, he's going to have to average like a K per inning here. So if I get 6 innings, I'm going to make a prediction. If I get 6 innings, maybe 5, he might get it done in 5. So if I get 6, though, I cash. If he doesn't go 6, I don't cash. How's that? If he goes 6, I cash. If he doesn't go 6, I don't cash. So I'm going to bet he goes 6 innings today. A little better effort at home. Bounces back a little bit off of a couple rough starts. And here we go again. We got another ace going on the bump right before the All-Star game for the Braves, which are in pretty good control. So
I was pretty good control. I would think the Braves
he's for a lot. He's got Cy Young. He's looking right now. He's a Cy Young candidate, obviously. So he's got a lot to pitch for too. So he just this is more of a stat day for him against a team that's kind of struggling a little bit. So I don't blame him for starting Strider today.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, I think like tomorrow, I think watch these games like the Braves. If they win today, they might be sitting a lot of guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get that rested,
Right.
So yeah. One thing about Bradley, his walk to K rate, his walk is 0.22. So even if it was 0.25, that would mean it was 1 walk per 4 strikeouts. So basically, that's where he's at. That's good. That's good. He's only letting up 1 walk. For every 4 strikeouts. That's
I watched his last game he pitched. Yeah, he had good stuff. He just couldn't put the guys. He just couldn't sit them down. He had command, but he wasn't catching. Sometimes you pitch well and you don't get the breaks. You know how that goes. So
that's how
he didn't pitch bad. He pitched pretty good actually, but
teams are batting 266 against them, so that's again not bad at all. So there you go. Okay, the last game of the night that we're on, and that is the Mets against San Diego. Mets are on a roll. They won 6 straight. Who knows if it's a little bit too late? I don't know. Like I said before, it's gonna be a tough second half for them to do what they expected to do this year. It'd be interesting what happens at this deadline. There's a couple players, that I read that could be getting traded. A couple pitchers. The Mets could use another pitcher. I heard who's the kid on the White Sox? Is it the kid on the White Sox? Bieber? I think he's on the trade. I think they're looking to trade him. But anyhow, Mets and Padres. Peterson versus Snell. I like the way Peterson came back, man. He came back. They sent him down to the minors. It looks like it worked. He came back with 2 very good starts. One against the Giants, 4 innings. They pulled him after 4 innings. He was pitching good, but it was his first game back. He only gave up 1 run. And then he had 6 innings, no runs against the Brewers. So he did pitch well. He did give up, and that's Peterson always in his career, gave up a lot of walks in both of those games, 5 to 6 walks maybe in both of those games, which I don't like. I think Peterson has got a tough road today to listen. The Mets need this series big time, but I don't know if they're going to beat Snell today. Snell's been on fire, and they got Max pitching tomorrow. So I can tell you one thing: the Mets ain't resting no players, that's for sure. And neither are the Padres. I look at these teams both alike in a lot of ways. They both underachieved. They both have better pitching than has been pitching. They back better hitters that been hitting. I see this team, both teams, a lot alike in a lot of ways, and not any good ways. That's for sure. So, I see them very even. I think these are a good matchup. Snell's the better pitcher, for sure. The Padres are in the top 10 in OPS and ISO versus lefties in the last 30 days. They started hitting the lefties. Snell's in the month of June, man, Snell's ERA was under 1 in 31 innings pitched. Unbelievable. He had a not a great start last outing, but he pitched himself out of a lot of jams, and that's also a good sign. It's not always the numbers. It's like his last start, he had 5 innings, 7 strikeouts, but 4 walks and 7 hits, but no earned runs. So he was pitching out of jams. He's a good pitcher. His numbers got a little inflated because of that stupid series in Mexico, where they all their numbers got all thrown out of whack when the Padres played that 20 runs one game, 15 or so runs the next game, whatever the hell it was. So I really throw those numbers out when it comes to the Padres pitching staff. But what I did with this game is I think they're going to hit. Listen, I think the Mets could beat the Padres. I think this game could definitely go over. But for it to go over, the Mets would have to score a lot of runs. And against Snell, I don't know if that's doable. So I take that back. That I don't know if this about that over. But I took the Padres team total over 4.5 against Peterson minus 115.
Team total over 4.5 Padres minus 115.
That's what I took. I think Peterson is not gonna. He had 2 good starts. I think he's due for a little, as they say, regression. The word I hate.
Yeah.
And and here's another little kicker. The Padres' walk rate is like one of the highest in baseball. They walk almost. It was 11 point whatever percent. So 11% walk rate. That's a lot. Walking 11% of the times. And Peterson gives up a lot of walks. So he puts runners on base. Padres aren't really the team, especially against lefties lately, that you should be putting guys on base. So there you go. I took the Padres team total. Now the Padres right now, as far as under teams, the Guardians are first, the Padres are second, the Phillies are third as the best under teams, by the way. But I like the Padres today. I think they're going to get to. I think they're going to get to Peterson. I could see. I
know you always compare the Padres to your Mets.
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning. I think they're like a mirror team. I compare them all the time to the Mets. They're both. I was telling in our chat the other day. I said that this is called the underachieving series because they're both underachievers. Both bats should be so much better. Their pitching staff should be pitching better. Yeah, without a doubt. They're both mirror teams. But I think they're both going to have better second halves. The Padres have come on a little bit lately. The Mets have come on a little bit lately, so there you go. I seen some number with Soto. Oh yeah, Soto's on a 23-game on-base streak. He's been on base 51 out of 58 games. He's on base, so I thought that was
maybe look at a Soto prop.
Padres have not won 4 straight in 2023. They've had 3-game streaks, and that was stopped yesterday. That was stopped by the Mets the other day. Yesterday. They haven't won 4 straight yet, which is pretty interesting. But anyhow, I went that route. I just something about Peterson today. I think he's going to get hit. If the Mets do win, it's because Snell didn't have a good outing, and it's going to be the game's going to go over if the Mets win, because it's going to be like a 6-5 something kind of game if they win. But I think the Padres probably are the better team today anyhow to win. So. That's what I did. Those were my games. Those are my games. To go over my games one more time, Phillies plus 105. Baltimore plus 110. Padres team total over 4.5, minus 115. The Braves minus 140. And the Braves Yankee parlay plus 156. Those were my plays for today. Up until now, the show has been on as the show since I started, 28-13, and
Pretty good
I've had a
record
good
there.
first half. I'll post my numbers what they are, but I'm up like about 20 units right now. So
Solid work.
I had
Nice
a
work.
good first work. I thank you. What do you want
I wish
today,
I could
Doc?
say the same about my numbers because I'm on this show.
Still
I think
early.
I'm pretty good with you on the show. I think I've done like 1 or 2 shows with
Yes.
you. I think I've done. I
Yep.
think in that one show we swept one day, and then I
Yes, we
don't know
did.
about the other one. But
Yeah, no, we've done well together, as always. So
yeah, so hopefully we continue that trend today.
yes.
And I'll give you my plays. I got a little 6-pack of action here. I got the Yanks team total over 2.5 in the first 5. Then I got Toronto on the run line, which is a higher price for me, minus 130, laying the 1.5 runs. Then I got the Minnesota Baltimore first 5 under 4.5 minus 115. And I don't know if you tailed me on that one officially, but you did mention that you like that play.
Yep.
And then also I got Cincinnati Milwaukee full game over 9 at minus 120. I see it's now crept up to 9.5 at
good.
minus 108. So that's a good sign. And then I'm taking 2 Florida boys and a K prop today. I'm taking Garrett Braxton of the Marlins, 5.5 Ks, minus 130. And I'm taking Taj Bradley to kind of bounce back in a good way, 5.5 Ks at plus 120.
Oh, so Bradley's K's are 5.5. Wow, at minus 120. That's interesting.
That's plus 120.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That makes more sense. Yeah.
Because it's the Braves, 5.5 plus 120, and then Garrett Braxton, 5.5 minus 130.
Let me see what
Two good hitting teams right now, the Phillies and the Braves, going up against them. Not against them, but on the pitching props.
Yep. No, I got you. Let me see what line that what BetUS has for the what was it? The Baltimore game, first 5 under 4.5. Let's see.
Yeah, Minnesota, Baltimore.
Yep. Baltimore Twins. Oh, they got the total now at 8, so it might not be there anymore. So I would probably innings. Let's see. First 5. No, it got down to 4, so you got a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. So I'm gonna leave it alone since that's the case. But yeah, you got a good number, so that's good. Yep. So that's it, man. So we got it in. So we're gonna try to put together something next week with our friend Connor Mack, who I talked to last night, and we'll put a little show together about the first half of baseball and more so about the second half and what we think was, what we like, which teams we think are going to do good, which teams we're going to do bad. We did it last year. It was a lot of fun. So we'll try to do that next week sometime. We got a nice little break. I'm looking forward to it. Next games will be, tomorrow there's games, and then there'll be games on Friday. Games will be back, right?
Yeah.
The All-Star game is Tuesday night.
The home run derby is Monday.
Home run derby is Monday, so it should be fun. A fun week.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, you NBA guys, about the Summer League, like I told you. Look out for Khalid Moore. That's his name. He's playing for the Knicks Summer League this year. Local Long Island, New York kid. So keep your eye out for him. And let's keep our eye out for – what's your brother-in-law's name?
His name is Harvey Vandeven. 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 He's a Dutch boy. I call him the Flying Dutchman.
The Flying Dutchman. I love it. Shout out to Doc's cousin.
Yeah.
And he's playing in the main event, man.
My brother-in-law, my sister's husband.
Oh, your brother-in-law. Oh, your sister's husband. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the guy I work with.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And hey,
guy.
that's a listen. He's playing and he's still playing is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, man. Like you say, hopefully there's a little bit of luck with him, and obviously his skill got him there, or he wouldn't even be playing in such a.
Yeah, he's won some pretty big tournaments in Florida. He won a WPT event one time.
Oh, okay.
He's placed down at Hard Rock in Tampa and a couple of other events down there, top 10, that type thing. So
yeah,
he plays at Hard Rock all the time in Tampa too.
That's cool. All right, man. So let's get out of here, Doc. Where? Tell us your Twitter again, and where you gonna
at Big Ragoo 62. at BIGOO 62.
62. And I'm at DommyGun Rici, Dom541. That start. I could never change that totally when I started Twitter. But anyhow, that's where I'm at. You know where to find us. Who-Bangin Sports Talk as always. And we will be back. We won't be back Thursday. We'll be back next Saturday for sure with Light It Up at 10 o'clock. And during the week, we will, like I said, try to put something together for a little preview of the second half of MLB. And, before you blink, guys, before you know it, NCAA football is coming up. The love of everybody, NFL is coming up. The heartbreak sport. So, like I said, before you know it, man, it's already after the 4th of July. So before you know it, blink, it's
blink
there.
Of an eye, man.
DJ's been throwing up some of those previews already.
Great job with that, DJ. Yep. Shout out to our guy, our fearless leader, DJ.
And the boys will be getting together. We'll be doing our thing. But anyhow, we'll talk about that in a few weeks. Like I said, all of a sudden, before you know it, there'll be preseason NFL, and the college boys will be ready to rock. So that'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. Anyhow, thank you, everybody, for coming in. I appreciate the love. Show's been growing ever since we started doing it, and you guys know I appreciate it, man. So without a doubt. All right, guys. See you next week. Have a good week. Peace.